Welcome to uh, today's live stream, and I would like to today's live stream, and I would like to I would like to today's live stream. Just give me a moment. Looks like we have saved our here. Okay, okay. Now it's fine. So I'd like to. What was our purpose in writing this book, and how can you get the maximum out of this book? So please, and the chat window is open. So you can, so I'm just posting a message here. So welcome to everyone, whoever is joining, and anyone who would like to ask questions, please you can chat here or in our WhatsApp group. You can ask the questions as well. And thank you once again for joining. And I would request Sundari um, to continue from here and explain to you how this book came about and what is our purpose behind this book. Go ahead.
Um, Hare Krishna, Aloha, thank you. I would first like to thank everybody who have bought the book Food for the Soul. This is a treasure of research that we have been doing in order to have uh, a nice spiritual life along with a healthy lifestyle. And I'm sure many of you have already got the book and kind of uh, gone through it roughly, maybe starting from the beginning, or maybe I really saw some of you posting the pictures of making some of the wonderful recipes, the wonder recipes, and so on. Uh, Apparently, although it's called a cookbook, but more than a cookbook, it's about food not to be just considered um, towards its physical aspect of what it can do to your body, but how it can really affect your mind, and in order to have effect in a way where it the mind is advanced and liberated towards the journey of discovering your soul and going further into your practices of yoga and meditation. Um, so this book happened to be, um, I would like to ask Gona Trash Prabhu to explain, because I'm very good at background, like I am good in the kitchen. But this book is, the principles are laid by Gona Trash Prabhu, and he would have many different adjustments and practices in yoga and spirituality. And he used to have a need of certain kind of diet that could help him focus more and go deeper into his spiritual practices. And I kind of, every time I cooked, things were very delicious and very nice, but still it didn't help him. It was good just for the body and the tongue, and you feel happy, but then the way you feel, he wanted the diet to be lighter and more into mode of goodness, the kind of ingredients we choose, the kind of oils or the kind of vegetables we put in, is it a good combination, does it go well with the body, and more food in mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, and all these discriminations and all these levels of how we could filter through all these things and make the best use out of food. So these are the principles that I learned from Gaurav Prabhu and my husband Gaurav Raj, and he laid the principles, and I made the handbook. So I will be great to explain if you have any kind of confusion or difficulty understanding making some recipes. I know everybody's a chef, and they are on a different level. Somebody are beginning their journey of cooking the food by themselves, somebody know have an hands-on idea of cooking, and somebody are Like, okay, you can just see the book and you can look at the ingredients. Oh yeah, I can make it. So whatever level of difficulties or whatever questions you may have, please feel free to approach me on my email address and my WhatsApp, and we could also have a chat. And basically the book focuses on the first week of fasting, and you are actually not fasting. You will be actually substituting your heavy cooked meal with wonderful chia detox lemonade, where the proportions of the recipe is made in such a way that you get the enough enough so that you don't feel hungry, like you don't have pangs of hunger. You feel lighter, you get energy. At the same time, the lime or the lemon is making your body more alkaline, and that's my little daughter Bhumi, and this is our family, and we wrote the book all together, so, with having the children with us. There is then smoothies, and then a very important aspect of a yogi's diet is sprouts. Sprouting is very important. We sprout at least twice a week.
So it all began with the yoga retreat that we did in Hawaii. So many years ago, we had been practicing yoga. So food has two important qualities. It should nourish you, and it should give you energy, and it should also purify the body. Now, when we get into bad habits of eating heavy or eating food that is very difficult to digest, then the body becomes weak, because when the food digests quickly on time, say within 2 hours of eating, then the food gives you good energy. Instead, if the food lasts in your body longer, then it takes energy from the body. So, therefore, time and again, once in a while, it's important to fast. So that is why in all religions, in all yogic practices, in all spiritual practices, we find that fasting is a very, very important phenomenon. So for example, on Ekadashi, the 11th day of the moon, or the 15th day, the Purnima or the Amavasya, even during these days, it's very good, very auspicious to fast. And the more you can, one of the important principles of yoga, if you want to get your body flexible, if you want to get your mind relaxed, is moderate eating. Food is a stress buster, and people binge eat today because just to take away from the stress, to keep away from the stress, they binge eat, binge drink. But even while fasting, if you watch on YouTube, there's a video called um, um, Science of Fasting. If you watch it, it'll explain to you how fasting gives you innumerable benefits. But then the benefits of that fasting go away very, very quickly if you do not eat properly after your fasting is done. Therefore, we designed the book in such a way that you can fast well with lemonades. These lemonades, these chia drinks, you can drink as much as you want, correct?
Yes, yes.
So you
yes,
can.
I had some questions. Somebody asked, "Oh, Sundari, can I go on more than a week?" I said, "Yes, you can go on more than."
You can actually, the lemonades you can drink for any number of days, and you can fast on them. There is no limit. To build up your health, once you come out from this lemonade fast, so if you are doing this lemonade fast, once you come out of it, then and along with the lemonade fast, when you do time to time, it's good to have these hot herbal teas, because they are designed to improve the circulation in the body. All these are also detoxing and energizing. So basically, detoxing is one type of energy anyway. And after this detox is done, the body feels fresh. Because yogic scriptures explain that there are two ways in which the body gets sick. One is improper digestion and improper excretion, correct?
Correct.
So these research on these herbal teas, and she did. Can you explain a little bit about the fennel and cumin and cinnamon, all these properties? How the teas
Yes.
you are designed?
So the spices, according to Ayurveda, there is three kind of category that your body is designed to have, and they can have dosha or kind of dosha. How would you translate that into an English word?
Yeah, humors,
Humors.
kapha pitta vata.
Kapha pitta vata. So kapha is where your body is more into earthly properties, and vata is when your body is more into having air or the ether aspect more in the body, and pitta, which means you have heat or more fire elements into your body. And according to that balances, like the three doshas, what is predominating and what is prominent and what is your prakriti, depends and on how your body functions. Like for example, my cause of allergies and cold and headache, or whatever indigestion problems I may have, will differ from what kind. The symptoms might be the same, but the cause might be the different. So basically, Ayurveda doesn't diagnose or doesn't believe in diagnosing the final effect of what disease you have. Rather, it wants to balance the three doshas into your body. What is high, or you are having too much acidity, refluxes, indigestion, and bulging, and all kind of different problems. So maybe the heat, either you're overdoing the spices, or you're overdoing the kind of teas, or the mind is hyperactive, or things like that. So I was quoting one sentence in the WhatsApp group, that the stomach is the second brain of the body. So when you eat certain food, the way you start feeling like, oh, it's making me heavy, it's making me sleepy, or it's giving me indigestion, and then immediately the air, the feeling affects your mind, and you start feeling not very good. And similarly, our feelings, certain situations in our body, they affect our mind and our senses, and the way thought process and anxiety and depression immediately affects our stomach. And modern research have shown so many symptoms.
Just to remind what she said, the stomach is considered like a second brain.
Yes.
So what happens in your stomach affects the state of the entire body and your mind. So therefore, be careful what you ingest into your stomach. So food is medicine. That is the main principle of our book. Food is medicine. Mm-hmm. And this will nourish the brain. It's not just the upper brain, but also the belly needs to be kept in an optimum. The stomach needs to be optimized. It should be in an optimum, in terms of its capacity, because the stomach, you cannot fill it up on a certain level. In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it says, whatever you eat half the stomach of solid, and the rest half divide it into two, and that quarter, that half, put liquid, and then leave the rest for air circulation. So it's very important that you do not overfill your belly. This can be only when you fast. You can have as much water as you want. It's okay, because all it does is it is just absorbing. Of course, they say don't drink too much water. It could also reduce sodium, but I did not find anything like that. So basically, these lemonades, when you fast, the chia seeds, they soak. The word chia seed, the chia comes from Mayan word meaning energy. So we design them, and then we use lemonade. Why we use lemon? Because it keeps the body alkaline. So when your body, when you're fasting because of too much hunger, if you're too much pitta, it can increase
The acidity.
acidity. Now, instead of, and when you do dry fasting, it could, fasting is good, but when you do dry fasting, it could actually increase the acidity. And many people over the years, after,
Actually, I would say in present situation, just going on fast is not feasible. Everybody's lives are very busy. Everybody has
busy,
to work, and you have to have the physical energy in order to execute your daily duties and family. So we he wanted to try dry fast, and then like every wife would immediately start worrying, oh, how are you going to do if you're not going to eat? So out of that curiosity and worriness, and that I had to substitute. Okay, you don't want to eat cooked food, you don't want to eat heavy, you want to like feel lighter and feel empty, so that you have, like, when the body is in process of digestion, the body is tired. So many times people feel, oh, I'm tired, I need to eat. No, sometimes what happens is we are just eating 3 meals a day, which is all cooked and carbohydrates, and everything might be very healthy, very good, very perfect, but the body can only take so much. So you just want to give that break. So even complete fast is difficult, because you cannot take a holiday for 15 days. I mean, if you can, that will be great. But still, then you have pangs of hunger and you don't feel good, and so.
so the first part of the book with these detox lemonades and these teas is to help you bear fasting. So actually, by fasting, what happens? You really get the proper effect of fasting, practically speaking, the third day onwards. Because the stomach has so much fat, because whatever doesn't digest in our belly, it is converted in the form of fat, and it is stored in liver and other places. That's why over a period of time, if you do not practice yoga, if you do not if you do not detox or regular intervals, then what happens is this fat content builds up and blocks the liver, blocks your kidneys, all these, you know. So you need to give it a break. So that is why fast is important. But because of our lifestyle, because um, of our the and today's stress, it's better to fast with something that can help you fast. At the same time, it will detox you completely. So
Not
the
only just help you fast, the drinks that are designed are supposed to amplify the factor of fasting from the regular diet, but you're also detoxing the chia seeds and the lime and the sequence of the fruits. And I've also mentioned, which fruit, like, you in general, all fruits are very healthy, but when you do the certain diet with the acknowledgement that, oh, it's going to benefit me in certain way, the message is sent to the mind, and then the effect is amplified. So when you do certain activities and practices with the knowledge of what it's going to do, so the brain and the mind are also in the process of detox, and the practice of meditation is going on. So the idea is also to give you the knowledge of what it can do, and then you put into the practice and you amplify the benefits.
exactly. And if you have noticed in the lemonades, there is also the
Bhumi, we can open the book.
there is an antibiotic, turmeric,
Turmeric, yeah.
turmeric. So when you take in turmeric, and that's very very detoxing. So if you are really looking, if you are if your body has inflammations, if your body has
antifungal,
fungus, I mean all these different problems that you have, if you're getting frequent cold and blockages, allergies, then you can fast with these healthy recipes, the turmeric, with the lemonade, turmeric lemonade. And then you will find that this turmeric is actually so antibiotic. It builds up a lot of resistance power and strength in the body. So one can use this fasting very very effectively to recharge your body, to strengthen the body, to detox your body, to clear your body. So the combination of lemonade and teas are especially meant for complete fasting. So if you see the 1 week fast that we have in the end, so this is mostly the lemonades and the the lemonades
Then goes the smoothies, some
and
of the smoothies in the later
and the teas.
teas.
Yeah. But then to build up, once your lemonade and fast along with the teas are done, then the next thing that we add there is the smoothies. So remember, you cannot mix fruits. How can we get good quality turmeric? So that's a question by Lavanya Mataji. So
the Asian stores have the fresh turmeric that you can use, and the best one, I usually, if I don't find the fresh one, I go to uh, Amazon.com and I buy the organic one, and I can share the brand and the one that I use later in the channel.
So we usually use fresh turmeric. If you go to Asian stores, you get fresh turmeric, means not the powder but the fresh root itself.
Yeah.
And if you can use that, that is the best. But if not that, then you can buy on Amazon or something. You can go or Whole Foods. You can go and buy organic, high quality. That's something you can trust. So it's very, very important. Another important use of turmeric that we found: when you sleep at night, take a tablespoon of turmeric and just sprinkle it in your mouth, around your teeth, in your mouth, everywhere. Just
and use your forefinger as a toothbrush, and then rub it on the gums, and the kind of, if you have like cavity or pre-cavity symptoms and everything, and if you can leave it like that, that's great. But after some time, you'll have the saliva and all the, it'll just take out, like, bring in all the bacteria. You can spit it out and then rinse your mouth with hot water, and you will feel great benefits, and the oil pulling,
and the turmeric, after I started doing that, she told me it's very good for it also removes away smell from in the morning when you wake up. Say you find, because of food undigested in the belly, your mouth could stink. But if you put turmeric regularly, every night, if you can, when you sleep, it freshens up. Because what happens is, when you don't clean your mouth properly, then the food particles remain. It causes, it can cause bacteria. It can cause the teeth going bad. So you could use that. So in that way, turmeric, we have used it in the lemonade. We have used it also in the smoothie. So turmeric is a very, very important ingredient for bacteria, or all different things. So the next thing what we find in the is the smoothies.
Yeah, also about the teas. So I mean, some of the spices, everybody would say, oh, these are some very common spices that would be available in any Asian families in their kitchen. But sometimes what happens is, we either overdo the spices or not do the spices, or we are not using the correct method of having the complete benefits of the spices. So I have given the right proportion. Usually cumin and fennel are the best herbs for any kind of digestive stomach issues one can have. And you might just have this and just boil them and sip this tea, make it into a cold tea, and make your own versions. If you feel you're going to be out in the day, you'll not have to have time to have the hot tea. So make a more proportion and carry it with you, and then you will see like how your stomach and your system feels better. And cumin is supposed to take away vata. Vata means the air, the imbalanced air. And when the air is imbalanced in your body, it gives you headache and migraines and everything. And cumin can really put this air down and make your digestion feel good. And you can really feel all the cloudiness that the mind is feeling, like the headache and everything can go away with proper use and consistently using these spices in the method and the recipe that I have mentioned in the book, not just like using them in seasoning and other stuff. No, just like that.
So therefore, we would suggest that these herbal teas with these spices that are mentioned are very beneficial. For anybody who has diabetes, you can use a lot of cinnamon while making tea. because cinnamon controls sugar. So we have also used cinnamon in the teas, and it's very very beneficial.
Yes. At the
Uh,
same time,
mhm.
not too much, not too less. So you feel, oh, cinnamon is great, and you cannot have everything
Not
cinnamon
the
like that.
cinnamon powder though.
Yeah, yeah.
It is the cinnamon stick. You got
Stick.
to
Yeah,
boil the cinnamon stick.
yeah. So
So
incorporate all the nice healthy tips, and then you want to introduce a little bit about the smoothies. So these are like special combinations, and I'm sure everybody might have read, and some of you might have not read. There is all kinds of nut milks in combination with the fresh fruits and a little bit of frozen banana just to make it chill and make it delicious. But they are wonderful combinations to make you feel full and satisfied. Fruits are so delicious, and as in you have it in the form of smoothie. I don't know, for us, I feel it also gives us a lot of mental happiness. We feel so pleased, having that kind of flavors and combinations which are mentioned here. So the idea of having a little bit of bananas in some combinations, little bit of what is there, avocados and cantaloupes, is that to give you the right amount of potassium and magnesium and all that minerals and proteins that you need when you're off the cooked food, like the starchy cooked food,
when you're fasting,
when you're fasting.
when you're just
And
focusing
even like
on.
that, you just want to have a half day where you like don't want to have something heavy in the morning, but start off with the warming teas, because according to Ayurveda, early morning you don't want to clog, because when you sleep, all the organs are also resting, so you just want to unclog and reactivate your organs and your liver and everything to function, your breathing. So you want to start up with warming tea, and then you can have a chia or mm, the smoothies. I have a friend here in Las Vegas, and she said, Sundari, I love all the lemonades, and I have started having the lemonade in the morning, and it makes me feel lighter and makes me feel more energetic and things like that. So a lot of people are using the book as a handbook for different ways, and I'm seeing that they are being so creative, and I'm also amazed in how they're using it.
So basically, you start off with the tea when you're. So first phase of fasting, you can do with the lemonades and the tea, and you could have them in any way. You could just drink the lemonade water in the morning, and you could have tea later. But when we go to the smoothie part, say 1 week you are done with the lemonades, and then you want to go for the smoothies, then you begin with the hot tea first, because you need to get the circulation going, take a short walk or heat yourself up, and warm yourself up, and then you take the smoothie. Early morning smoothie inside, around 8:30,
Midday, that's what I'm saying.
midday.
Midday
Yeah,
is good.
midday is
Around
good.
noon and late noon is good.
Nine,
Evenings are not
yeah,
that
after
great.
10 especially. So take the smoothie, and then late evenings are not good. So middle, if you want to take it twice, 10 o'clock, around 11 o'clock, and then 2 3 o'clock if you're just taking the smoothies for the day. And smoothie is a whole meal actually, depending on how much you take. And we have added nuts there.
The recipe for each is one complete meal.
One complete meal. So basically, the smoothies that are there.
And then you could make different proportions, and you can increase. Like sometimes people like extra blueberry flavor or the extra carob. There's one carob, and carob is also very good, and it's a great substitute for chocolate. And but it also has a lot of iron. So if you, I have like friends who said, "Oh, more extra carob."
Yeah. So in that way, you can you can see that this um, smoothies. One thing to remember is that we do not use dairy. So this book is vegan, with a few of them having vegetarian options, but do not mix milk and fruits. Fruits should be separate. And another thing is, when you eat food, have lunch or whatever, do not mix fruit with cooked food. that causes ama or poison. So fruit should be taken separate, either an hour early or an
Two
hour
hours
later,
later.
2 hours later, or if you are having smoothie, so it should be basically on the smoothie. So it should not be. You should not mix um, uh, the cooked food and fruits. Neither you should mix milk in the smoothie, uh, or nor you should mix um, uh, curd or dahi or something.
Yeah, it's yogurt or curd. Like in
Yogurt or
India, it's known
curd
as curds, and
or
it's
yogurt.
yogurt.
So keep the fruit
The
separate.
curds are having different
Yeah, keep
leaves.
the fruits separate and have it separately. Then they give the best effect because fruits have so many things in them: potassium, magnesium, all these different elements that are needed to vitamins and different things, minerals. So they all of them have that, and fruits in itself are a full meal. We can see that if we eat less, it's okay, it's good for us. But when you overeat, that's when the problem comes. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, if you read the Hatha Yoga Pradipika or any classical text, you will find that it talks about atyahara, eating too much, or not. But it doesn't talk about. Yes, extreme fasting is not good. That's why we have this book, because if you Google videos on YouTube, you will find that one professor is talking about how fasting can reverse practically any chronic problem. But the problem is, after the fasting is done, the diet that you adopt determines how much the effect of that fasting lasts in within you. Therefore, we have designed this book in such a way that it is all about moderate eating, so that whatever fasts you do, whatever exercises you do, whatever cleanses you do, if you adopt this diet, it's in such a way that the benefit of the cleanse or the fast, you will get that. You will be able to maintain the benefits. You see, some people do crash. I know a friend who fasted for 23 days on water. He lost weight, but then after some time, he was back. He was a practicing spiritualist, but he was very fat, and he tried so many things, but he could not reduce weight, because when you fast, you do extreme. When you eat, you do extreme. No, in the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about yukta ahara, moderate eating. So our eating should be moderate. If we eat a little less, as they say, if you feel, should I eat or not? If I'm in a confusion, don't eat. You can eat a little less proportion, but don't overeat, because once you overeat, and that's it. The body slows down. So let's not do that. And after the smoothies, it ends with an antibiotic smoothie. So you find that there is a turmeric and different things.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to make it like when you consume turmeric, the taste is not. If you just want to, if I want to have my daughter to have some turmeric, it's difficult. So she likes smoothies, and like even for him, and like if I have to have a little more extra turmeric, so she likes a blueberry smoothie. She said. So I just come up with this recipe, and it's really delicious, and it's great. It has some ginger, so try it out. And then after that comes the sprouting and the salad section. You want to speak
Yes,
about?
yes.
Yeah,
And just
he
add,
was. Yeah, I just want to speak about the sprouting sections. I was
I
very
want to add.
inspired.
So just one thing
His,
I want to add one
yeah.
thing. Ginger, fresh ginger. Like yesterday, I was fasting, and I was thinking what to have, because I was trying to focus on cleansing. So the best thing that I had yesterday was a ginger shot. You
Strong.
get. Yesterday we did a yoga in the park, and then we stopped by Whole Foods to buy some groceries, and you get this fresh ginger shot. So we ended up actually taking a 4-ounce ginger shot. So in general, fresh ginger is very helpful. It in if you use it with the teas, if you use it with the smoothies. Ginger circulates faster within the body. It energizes the body, and if you have a weak digestion, it is suggested that when you eat food lunch, if you eat breakfast, when you eat food lunch or different things, you can actually sprinkle dry ginger powder. That's separate, that you can do it separately. Just add a little bit, and it helps to heat up, helps to digest the food in the body. Because one of the Ayurvedic points is mandagni, means weak digestive fire.
Fire.
So dry ginger is supposed to help that, and fresh ginger is also supposed to improve your fire of digestion. Okay, now let's go on to the next section, that is the sprouts.
Yeah, I incorporated to a lot of sprouts, and it was inspired by my good husband. He used to always talk about when he was doing his MSc in yoga, the best diet that they were having was the mung sprouts, and that was his whole meal.
Fresh
and he
sprouts.
felt fresh sprouts, and then they were slightly sauteed into ghee and things like that. And he said that I felt that I don't need anything more, and he could just focus on his studies and his practices, and a lot of energy is needed when you do physical asanas, the aspect of yoga. And he felt sprouts just gave him everything he needed, the number of calories, the amount of energy, and the mental peace. So we incorporated a lot of sprouts, and he could speak about it more.
Very important thing about the sprouts is that they are a storehouse of very powerful energy. So if you want to improve your energy levels, you could substitute your entire breakfast with sprouts. And not just once you fresh sprouts, it's important to just saute it for slightly for like a minute.
Recipe says like 3 minutes.
So if you 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes,
so
maximum.
Our recipe, you can see we have these sprouts.
Yeah, this is the recipe that you are talking about.
Yeah, so prana sprout salad, because this sprout has so much of energy, and because it's the seed, seed has so much energy rather than the fruit in terms of life, pranic energy. So this salad combination is with the sprout, and when you saute it a little bit
with turnip greens.
Yeah,
the most underestimated leaf, the turnip greens, and usually people feel it's not very tasty, but then it's very delicious. Try the turnip greens, saute it with the sprouts, and then sprinkle with the extra vegetables and ingredients that are mentioned here, and make it exotic with organic shredded dry coconut and a little bit of lime, and we love it totally. Yeah, and then there's beet, and there are different kinds of salad dressing. And after the salad, the next section is khichdi or soups.
After the
then you have all the rejuvenating soups.
Yes.
So here.
So after you're fasting, the most energizing food that you eat is the sprout salad. Why? Because it digests quickly. It energizes you very fast. It gives you energy very fast. And to make it a little tasty, you can saute it with a little bit of coconut oil, or it's very nice. But then we begin with the soups.
Mm-hmm.
So these soups that we find are the most important soup that I found very healthy, very strong, that balances the entire body, is actually the barley soup. Barley soup, yeah, because I never found, I was just thinking about it, but the barley soup, I was just amazed by the sheer energy that it gave me. Can we
actually, in Ayurveda, the barley, like if anybody has any kind of stomach sickness, barley was recommended. I know many people are going gluten free, but the kind of a little bit of gluten that barley has is about to make it your stomach lining to have some laxative and some healing properties, then making it heavy on digestion. So
we have a question here by Shivalamji. Can we mix fresh ginger with hot milk? No.
a little bit is fine.
Little bit?
Yeah, like a ginger tea, like ginger turmeric.
With
But first, what you do is you first boil the ginger in water, and after it is cooked into the water, and then you pour the milk.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, so you mix not the fresh ginger, but
fresh ginger can be boiled.
And this boiled water.
Yeah, just like you make any tea decoction, like you make the ginger boiled into water first, and then you can add milk, not directly into the milk.
Not directly into the milk. Okay, there you go. So just like people drink ginger tea,
Yeah.
Of course you boil the ginger separately, and the water you can mix with the milk.
Yeah, and the same way can go with turmeric.
Yes.
Yeah, the same way. Both are roots. And
both are roots.
Both are good.
Okay, that is about fresh ginger and fresh. Fresh turmeric. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even the turmeric should be first cooked and boiled, and then the milk can go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we take soups any time of the day, even though I'm not fasting previous day? Yes, of course.
Yes.
See,
yes.
Fasting is something that is helpful. That can really help you. But even otherwise, moderate diet is something that we would recommend. So soups definitely are. We are talking about having a moderate diet.
You talk. Yeah, soups are great for dinner.
You can continue.
Soups are great for dinner if you want to feel lighter, and like you have an early morning like engagement where like you have to wake up early in the morning going to work or any kind of activity you have. Yes, soups are good at night. And then the next section, apparently it happened to have lots of other wonder recipes in the back, but they are all in a very health conscious way, the ingredients. And then there is khichiris, kriya khichiris. The section is called as kriya khichiris. Of course, it has chutneys and baking. So here I have made baking. I have made all the frying, all the deep frying recipes into baking. So in general, raw banana is wonderful, plantain is wonderful, and all breadfruit, and then there is zucchini, and there is quinoa burgers, and they all are baked. So baking makes it lighter, they are cooked better, and there is a little bit of oil, either olive oil or coconut oil, and some flour, and mostly everything is gluten free. And I have used brown rice or rice flour, which makes it crispy towards the edges. So make use of those, and eat them guilt free because they're not fried. And the next section goes into the chutneys, the raw chutneys, and some of the cooked tahini, and the baked samosa. Yeah, I want to introduce one chutney over here. Yes, the Chinese okra, and in India it is called as turiya. This particular vegetable, the peels, have a lot of deliciousness in it. So make use of this chutney, and I have recommendations of how and with what it goes very well. So chutneys are delicacies in India. If some of you don't know, some of them are raw, and some of them are having seasoning, or they are slightly sauteed to bring up the flavor, and then grind it into fine paste, and it becomes a dip or a chutney. Then the tomato tahini, yes, this tomato tahini, make it made fresh from sesame seeds. I'm not using, I call it tahini because the sesame that you get in the store, which is in a form of tahini, it's pureed sesame. But you're making in this recipe, you're using fresh sesame. So that's a lot of difference, unprocessed and fresh deliciousness. And then comes the kriya khicharis. So there's all kind of wonderful yoga kriyas that I learned after I got married. When I first heard and saw my husband doing all the yoga kriyas of cleansing the excess mucus in the esophagus, the allergies, and the deep colon cleanse and everything. So after you do those practices, there is a certain kind of diet that one has to take up for a day or two, and these are those khicharis. So I love them all, and I love the kriyas. In the beginning, I was like, "Oh, I can never do it," but the day I started learning, I saw the effect that I am rid of all the allergies, and I'm rid of all kind of different, heartburn and all those issues. And we practice those. And after the kriyas, my husband will talk more about it. And we had the retreat of the cleanse just recently. We concluded, and it was wonderful. So these were the diet, and the soups that were incorporated after the lemonades and smoothies. And and then the wonder rice. In general, people just stick to the white rice and basmati rice and general brown rice. But there are all wonderful different kinds of. There used to be like 60 or 80 varieties of rice, and this is wild rice mix, and then there is black rice, which is called as forbidden rice. But when you cook them, they turn out into a beautiful purple color, and they're delicious, and they're also lots of tons of antioxidants, fiber, minerals, and they look delicious and taste delicious. So try them. And any more questions? And then you have all the wonder recipes, the coyote recipe, the dry subjis and curries, and the pizzas, which can be completely vegan if you want to make it vegan, and then make your base from the scratch. This was just hand pressed on the cast iron. I did not use any rolling pin and stuff like that, and the crust comes out delicious. It has nice flax flour and chia, and it's a great way to introduce these super grains into your children's menu, and the flax and chia are wonderful. So I started making this crust at home for many years ago, and my daughter totally loves them. And yes, so, and then in the end, it has the guided fasting. So the food is just not for taste and just not to nourish your body. It has different levels of digestion, and finally, it nourishes the mind, intelligence, and the soul for the higher destination. And that's the goal of Food for the Soul. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting. We feel greatly encouraged, and I would go and take my baby Nimai, and my husband will come back and share more information.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining. And this book, we have 100 recipes in this book so far.
So the next edition.
And in this, and anybody who is not in the WhatsApp group, or you want to ask any questions, okay. Are microgreens? Did you answer this question? Are microgreens instead of sprouts are okay to eat raw, or should we saute it? There's this question. So microgreens instead of sprouts, I think greens you can of course eat, but we would always recommend to digest better. It's better to have some kind of as they say, salad dressing. So our dressings that you find are to improve your digestion. So you need not saute the microgreens, because then they, so instead of that, yes, they can be eaten fresh, but you could add some digestive aid like either ginger powder, or you could add the little bit of salad dressing that we have added there. Also, would like to know about views on eating raw salads. Yes, raw salads are definitely recommended. In South India,
Any kind of raw salad should be
Mhm.
accompanied with the salad dressing, which has some kind of oil in it.
Yes.
This,
So
this,
so any kind of salads you should add a salad dressing which has an oil. And eating raw food, yes, raw food is recommended sometimes. Like if you see in the South Indian meals, the traditional temple South Indian meals, the Brahmin meals, they begin with kosumbari, like a little bit of raw cucumber and sprout. So it's always there. So but if you're only eating raw, like see, fruit also means raw, sprout also means raw, and these greens also means raw. So there are these different things which are raw. So raw is good for a certain amount of time, because one thing is raw is considered cold. Too much raw is considered cold. So therefore, when you mix it with the dressing of oil and different things, that's when it becomes a little easier to digest. And it's the problem with the good thing about raw is it doesn't remain in your belly. It just passes through. If it digests, it digests. If it doesn't digest, it doesn't stay, but it just passes through. That's the reason you take raw foods. And raw foods digest faster. And and I wouldn't recommend raw food for a long time. Maybe once in a day you can have one raw and one cooked, like that. Because in the Ayurveda there is Agni Samskara, slightly cooked is considered very, very beneficial. So in this way, you will find that our book, we have the whole book is in a sequence, starting from light to fruit, and then there is raw, and then after the raw, then comes the dressings and the chutneys, the dips, the baked, and then we go into the full-fledged cooking in the end. And you will find that those dishes which we have designed, which most of them are, we know, are in the traditional realm, but we have the ingredients and the recipes you will find are to make them very light, to make it very, very light and easy to eat, because and digest. Because same thing, like they say, same thing can be cooked in sattvic manner. Same thing, you add a little bit more spice and chilies and it becomes more rajasic, it becomes over spicy. And same thing, when you overcook it and over this thing, it could become, tamasic. So it depends on the same thing, how you cook, how quickly you cook, what is your mind. If you cook it happy, then it cooks very well. You should. And eating mild and moderate is very, very important to have a good health in the long run. So we wish you, thank you all for joining, and may this book bring you good health. And we are already working on the second edition, and hopefully every week we will do a broadcast where we talk about different recipes and newer recipes coming. And if somebody posts any question, any very important question, we'll be happy to do some more research, which you find away, apart from the book, and we'll be happy to do incorporate in our next seminar. So please spread the word, and if any of your friends have not yet bought this book, you can refer them and take them to the website. And if you have any questions, please email us, text us, and our goal is to reach out and give you any answers that we our best we can do. Thank you all so much for joining, and hopefully we'll continue next week. And hope all of you join us. And we want to make this like a weekly broadcast where we give out some. We'll discuss. Today was a general overview of the book, but next week we'll go to some specifics. We'll take up some specific topic and present it like a paper, and so that it can help you improve and help. By giving this knowledge, we also get some benefit. Thank you all so much. See you next week. Hare Krishna.